Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Feels like I took a little break, but it's been a whole lot, and one of the promises I made when I started this channel was the fact that I wanted it to become a resource hub where there's a mix of HR, career, lifestyle, and a couple other things. Of course, trainings as much as possible. And I recall about last week, I got a lot of questions within my practice of HR, and a lot of persons were asking me questions around career transitions. They want to change their jobs, they want to get something better, they want to just switch basically. And this has inspired me to put this video together. I'll be trying to talk about the nitty-gritties of what a career switch, what a career transition, and a career progression would mean. And I'd like you to stay till the end of this video because I'll be breaking and dissecting a couple of things that you should know. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, I would implore you to kindly click on the subscribe button. Don't just watch, subscribe, like, and share so that you would get notified when I bring useful content like this your way. All right. It's important to realize that on the issue of career, whenever we talk about a career transition or a career switch, we are not saying you should restart your life from ground zero. A career transition is not restarting your life. A career transition is not beginning from scratch or beginning from zero all the time. And I know there are a lot of realities that might shoot up, but a career transition does not necessarily have to be a function of your age or a function of certain demographic factors in that sense. I think one of the most important things for transiting your career is clarity, and then questions such as, why do you want to do a transition in your career? What do you need to do? And these are the questions I will be giving very insightful answers to. Once again, ensure to stay till the end of this video. Some people like to call career transition a career change, a career redesign. There are different names. People even say it's an effort to break into another industry. All these things are super correct. And I remember the story of a man who in his 40s, he just realized that he couldn't use the computer to do anything. He was an administrative fellow, but he just could not do so much. And thankfully, this kind of video is coming in 2024 towards November, and then you are approaching 2025 and you want to see what are the extra things that you can put together with your daily life to make sure that you are just a little bit above average, because the current state of things for work, career, whatever you want to do requires that you are not just average. If you are average, there's going to be a whole lot of struggle. So the next thing we'll have to talk about is, what do I need to do? Right? What do I need to do? I can't just have wishes and then I have wishes and nothing. There's no plan, there's no action point in that sense. What do I need to do to switch my career? Don't forget, the first point again is clarity. And like I said, ensure to stay till the end of this video so that you would have the little bits and tie them up together. The next thing, like I said, what do I need to do? The beginning always has to be knowledge. What do you know about where you are going into? What do you know? You literally don't know anything about tech, but you just want to be a software developer, and you were formerly an accountant. You don't know anything about HR. You just don't. If somebody should ask you questions about the industry, you just don't know. Again, I'm not saying you should quit your job or you should just do a very quick switch, because if you don't even know where you're going to, you might just be jumping from frying pan to fire and you don't know. Because I'm an author and I've written a couple of books, I like to draw from insights. I think in the next set of videos, I would be doing some series where I would explain using some real life examples of how people have jumped from frying pan to fire and it just did not end well in that sense. So you want to understand what's your knowledge base? What's your knowledge base? I explained that I didn't just leave school and I ran into human resources. I literally I had to research what is HR. Okay, so what are the different parts of HR? What exactly am I interested in? You want to go into oil and gas. Do you understand what happens in the downstream sector, in the midstream, in the upstream sector? Do you know what happens at the rigs, right? Do you really have an understanding about what PMS, technical things that happens in the oil and gas, right? Oil and gas does not mean you just get there and start working, right? You want to work in human resources and you just want to understand, okay, we say appraiser, we say performance appraiser. What do they mean? What do they do in HR? In accounting, what do they do? So this would mean a lot of research, right? You want to go into tech, for instance, and tech can be very wide. And for me, it's been very interesting because I didn't even know I loved tech until I started practicing HR, and I fell in love. HR made me fall in love with data science and data analytics, and I'm like, oh, this is literally a love affair. So in my perspective, there is a lot of research you would need to do. Number one, clarity. And don't forget that I mentioned that nobody has the right to judge you. Nobody has the right to judge you for your reasons. Even if the reason why you want to do a career switch is to earn more money, I can't judge you literally. Everybody wants to make a whole lot of money. But again, have a critical level of understanding, have a knowledge base, right? Let people engage you in conversations about the industry you want to break into, and you have at least a basic understanding. For work, career, whatever you want to do requires that you are not just average. If you are average, there's going to be a whole lot of struggle. And it was a joy to watch, to see a 40-year-old man learn how to use Microsoft Word, learn how to use Excel and PowerPoint, just because he needed it for a certain growth in his career. And the man is barely 45 as I speak now. Perhaps he's watching this video and he can relate that I'm telling his story. And the kind of things I see him do on the computer now, the kind of tech stuff that this guy does, I would not believe that this is a 45-year-old man who started using software and technology just 5 years ago. And the transition, the amount of growth that happened within his career within 5 years, there are things that I cannot quantify. So it's really important that you take this conversation very, very seriously. And of course, you can share experiences within the comment section, or you can reach out to me if you do have questions. You can, of course, definitely ask questions in the comment section, and I'll try to give responses to them. So often, haven't discussed what a career transition would mean. The next question will be, why do people want to change their careers? Why do I think I want to break into a new industry? Sometimes clarity is the beginning of everything. I really want to understand why I am doing what I am doing. What is the reason? Am I doing this because of bandwagon? In one of my earlier videos, I mentioned that I was almost going to be an accountant, and the only reason why I wanted to be an accountant was because all my friends were into accounting, right? All my friends were doing accounting, they were doing a whole lot of stuff around finance, and I started off trying to be an auditor, trying to be an accountant in that sense, and I was very wrong. So you need to clarify the reasons why, and trust me, nobody has the right to judge you. Nobody has the right to be critical as to why you want to do the things you want to do. It could be as little as you want a financial raise, you want flexibility, you want to be able to work remotely, you want to do something meaningful with your career, you want to have a sense of growth, a sense of fulfillment in that sense. Those are your reasons, and those reasons are very, very valid. I would even be surprised if you don't have a particular reason and you want to do a lot of things. So literally, don't forget that the beginning always has to be the why. Is it doable? Yes, it definitely is doable. Maybe reality would mean it's difficult. Okay, difficult does not mean impossible. And I've shared a story to help you illustrate the fact that anything really is possible if you really commit to it. So clarity is my number one. The next thing we would want to do, so knowledge. I'll still talk about how to get knowledge much later, but knowledge is something you cannot throw away. In the words of my mentor, literally, I know a lot of persons want to jump into practical. You want to know how to, again, for example, prepare payroll, because I do HR and I prepare payroll. You want to jump into doing payroll, compensation and benefits, and all that. But what part of your income can be taxed? What part of your income cannot be taxed, right? You want to do HR, but how about labor law? When you hear labor law, you're like, okay, what's the meaning of labor law? Okay, so literally, your knowledge base has to be up there. I was saying that you want to do a whole lot of things, and you want to go into practicals. You want to get that next job, get going. Some of us, we see job applications that require somebody who has been in the game for 3 years or 5 years, but by faith, you just want to get into the industry and start practicing and start applying to these things. And again, in the words of my mentor, you literally have to build practical on theory. If your theoretical knowledge of certain things are not as balanced as it should be, you will suffer when you are doing practicals. And I don't really care what we are talking about. Every field has principles. Every field has principles. Again, stay till the end of this video, because I'm going to share very, very, very key things in the next few minutes, right? So don't just go away. Back to our discussion. I started by talking about clarity. Then I'm saying you should have knowledge. I'm not saying you should know everything, but get into a constructive conversation with somebody about the career path you want to go into. I see a lot of persons, especially young ones, out of school, fresh out of school, say they want to do tech, and then you ask them, what do you want to do in tech? They can't give you concrete answers. And some people still think today that tech means coding, right? Some people still think today, and you literally can have conversations around tech, and you do a whole lot of tech and you never code. So as I was saying, technical skills, you want to be sure that you really understand. People have been able to do WordPress without coding, and they build beautiful websites in that sense. So you want to understand, even on your current job, what are the technical skills you require. So for instance, I want to change my job. I want to get into a new zone in 2025. I can begin to make my plans from today. And I always tell people that if everything is in line, you don't need more than 3 months. You don't need more than 3 months to literally get a job. You don't need more than 3 months to I like to use the 90-day window, because I've seen it work. I've practiced it personally, right? There was a time I needed to make a career switch, and I did a 90-day thing, and before the 90-day was up, I know how many things happened within that period. I've prescribed it to a lot of persons, and I've seen them work on how to map out a strategy to land a new role or whatsoever within 90 days. That's not the focus of this conversation. Again, technical skills. The next thing will be your behavioral skills. I would say that attitude is everything. Sometimes, for some industries, you have to be somebody that has tenacity. You have to be somebody who you are constantly doing things, right? You are constantly, your stress level, you are able to manage it. You are emotionally intelligent. Do you understand? You are somebody who is given to integrity. I mean, you can't be a financial person and integrity is a problem for you. You can't be within some fields and there are some things around your behavior that you are struggling with. I don't want to go so deep into this whole behavior thing, but sometimes if we do an introspection of ourselves, we'll discover that there are some careers, there are some certain careers we'll find ourselves and we'll fail, not because we are not good or we don't have the technical skills, but because certain behavioral things around us, we are not yet fixed those stuff. So, and this is one of the things that recruiters look at. You can have all the perks and everything that we want, but somehow behaviorally, your attitude to projects, your attitude to timeliness, time management. Are you that kind of a person that you say you are going to do this particular thing? You want to, even your own CV. I want to update my CV, for instance, and it takes you 6 years. It takes you 6 months. That was just a joke. It takes you about 3 months be able to update a CV that you should be able to update in about a week. So your behavioral skills, very and customer service is a big part of technology, but you don't have to code to do customer service, right? I do data analysis and data science, and of course there's a part of data science where you literally have to begin to write a little bit of programs when you are trying to do regressions and you're trying to do projections here and there much later, when maybe you need to use a programming language, Python for instance. But digital skills, they are part of tech. You want to do social media management, you are in tech literally, so you can literally break these things down and choose what part of tech you want to chase. So let's break these skills down. The first type of skill would always be the functional skills. What is a do or die? What would make you relevant on the job? In July, while I was doing my birthday, I organized a free boot camp, and one of the things I was teaching there was the fact that if you want to get a new job, go on Google and type product or project manager vacancies. You see a lot of vacancies on the project manager role, and you see a minimum of 5 years, must be good with Scrum, must do this, must do that, should have this certificate, should have that, should have that. And then you do an analysis. Where am I going to? What do I have? What are the things I need to do before I get there? So there are some other things that, when we begin to talk about culture fit into the organization and some other things, but the very first place has to be technical skills. What are the functional skills? Again, because I'm an HR professional, I can say, do I know performance management? What is learning and development? What is talent management? What is organizational design? Right? What are the functional competencies? Do I understand administration? Do I understand strategy? What do I need to know technically for so if you are doing accounting, for instance, or you're going into finance, do you have an understanding of financial reporting? Do you have an understanding of costing? I remember when I was still doing accounting, one of the areas I didn't really like was cost accounting, but I remember that we used to do first in, first out for inventory management, last in, LIFO, FIFO, and all that. If you're an accounting person, you would literally understand what I'm talking about. So again, skill sets, technical skills. Don't forget, I'm talking about the skills that you need to have. Whatever industry, I'm not concerned about the industry, but what are the technical skills? So you're a digital person, right? A digital or social media, whatever it is. I know, there's a part of social media that has to do with content, for instance, that has to do with managing pages and all that. Can you edit videos? Can you do, transcription? Can you manage social media pages? Do you know how to run Facebook ads? Technical things. And I talked about your functional skills, technical skills for where you are going to. Again, knowledge, functional skills, behavioral skills, and the next thing would be leadership. Now, leadership is so important that somehow, if you are not able to own your job, own your space, make critical decisions where you are not under supervision, but you are still delivering, you might struggle. Unfortunately, I know there's so much clamor for the right type of onboarding, people coming to the team and you are trying to train them. But you and I know that there are some jobs that you get and you have little to no special training, and it is important that you break leadership down. Leadership will mean, for instance, emotional intelligence, right? When the stress level comes, when you are not getting it right, how are you able to handle yourself? I like to tell people that the greatest form of leadership is self-leadership. If I cannot lead myself, if I cannot tell myself that I should do this, if I cannot tell myself I should do this and I literally do it, then I will not make a good leader. Another part of leadership is delegation. So if every time when you are working, you are not able to have people within your team do things that they will do and do them perfectly well, and you have to be the messiah in every situation, then you are not exploring leadership, right? Leadership would also mean teamwork. There are some persons, I know you can't even be a leader without a team, right? Are you able to function well within a team? So if there's a project, for instance, and you have to work within the team, how best? You literally need to work with people, right? Whatever your career path will be, you literally have to work with people. I doubt I doubt there's any career path where you'll be alone and all you have to do will be yourself. Sometimes it's customer service, it's customer support. How do you know, it's not very far from your behavioral tendencies, but you being able to be in charge, you being able to know that I've got this, I am competent, I am sound. Nobody is going to ascribe the value on you, but you know that, okay, this area I want to get into, I can lead. I have the potential to be a leader. Don't forget the story of the 40-year-old man who could not use the computer, but is now a leader. So it's very important that we are not saying you should get into the company and become a CEO, but you should aim to be a leader. You should aim to be in control of your space, right? The next thing I would always say again is, especially going into 25, embrace technology. I don't care where you are going to. We are not in 1995. We are not in the year 2000. We are literally going to 2025, and it is important to see how your career path or wherever you want to go, see the technological relevance of IT in whatever career you are going into. If you are a finance person, you must use Sage, or you must use a particular ERP. I don't want this video to get excessively long. I would have taught us some hacks, which again, on my other social media handles, somewhere within, I will do well to pin my other social media handles. I'll be running some series where I'll be talking about a couple of hacks and some things that you can do to learn software. When you are going into HR, there's Seamless HR, there's Bamboo HR, there are a lot of ERPs that you should use. So when you are showing up for an interview, I hope I don't have to do this as a part 1 and part 2 because there's just so much I have to say. So imagine you are going for an interview and you are beginning to speak from the point of knowledge, from the point of technical competence. Your attitude is okay. You are a leader. You can take initiative, right? You are emotionally intelligent. You are smart. You understand that you can take ownership of your job. You don't need to be supervised. If you are within a team, you can work well with others. If you are the leader of a team, you can delegate properly. Do you understand that it's as if your life or your career is literally beginning to take shape? It's like it's a map and you really understand what to do part time. Do you get the perspective? So it's important that you find where technology meets you. If you are going into 2025 and you cannot find the midpoint between your career and technology, then that's failure before arrival. So look for the technological relevance, right? The technological relevance of IT, right, within your career. If you are going into tech, if you wish to go into tech, for instance, you have a lot of work to do. But even if you are not going into tech, I promise you that there is IT in every field. Again, functional competencies, technical. Number 2, behavioral. Number 3, leadership. Number 4, technology. And the most important, if you have not subscribed to this channel still, I would admonish that you subscribe right away and you share this channel with your friends, because I'm going to be doing a whole lot of this, right? Again, Tola is going to shoot me if I don't make the next video. She has told me that I must make 2 videos per week, and I'm trying to be obedient in that sense. So back to our conversation. The most important, please, if I've been saying several things from the beginning of this video, I think this is just the most important. Even if you don't do, which I advise that you do, every other thing that I've mentioned, this part is super important. And what is that? Networking. You want to get into the next career path, you want to switch into another career path, I promise you, you need the help of people. I promise you that perhaps the next breakthrough that you need is by somebody talking about you to someone telling you where to submit your CV, someone telling you how to do certain things, right? So you need to join communities, you need to speak to people who are doing those things, right? For me, I do a lot of things, I wear many hats, need to speak to people who are doing those things, right? For me, I do a lot of things. I wear many hats. I write books. I do data science. I do this. I do that. I do that. But primarily, I'm an HR person. I belong to 7 HR communities. I said 7. So you can just imagine how many people I literally have access to, right? So what template do you want to think about in HR? If I don't have it, I have a dozen of people that I can call. Do you understand? So I might be competent, but I might not be resourceful. So if you want to harness resourcefulness, which is one of the things that most employers, most recruiters, they are looking for, somebody who solves problems, somebody who has the initiative and all that, somebody who is very resourceful. You'll get that from communities, from networks. Attend that industry you want to break into. Attend industry events. I'm not a tech person primarily, but for instance, Zenith Tech Fair, I've been attending it for years now. Trust me, they will talk about cybersecurity at Zenith Tech Fair. They will talk about Oracle. They will talk about a whole lot of things. I'm an HR person, but they will talk about data. They will talk about a couple of things. If I don't attend physically, I will attend online. I had to learn this the hard way when I thought I was flying solo. If you are flying solo, you will not go far in your career. If you are flying solo, you will not do so much. In fact, when you try to switch your career, you will struggle. And this is me saying that, unlike popular belief where people think that you need to spend 10 years, 5 years before you get it right, I can literally tell you that within a year, you can make monumental progress. Within a year, you can make monumental progress within a new career path, and people will be wondering how long you've been doing stuff. Why? Because things that will take people 10 hours to do, you know who to call. I remember there was one time, the first time when I was told to make a business plan. I've never made a business plan before, but I had a friend to call who sent me a template, as easy as that. So networking should be something in fact, some people have gotten jobs today just because somebody told another person from another person through another person that XYZ is looking for a job. Do you understand? So networking, it's a mix, it's a blend of different factors, right? You might want to reach out to me to get some specific guidance, but if you go through these things step by step, and you add networking to your overall game, I promise you that within 1 year you can switch into any career. You have a knowledge of the industry, you have researched the functional competencies that you need to have, and you have started doing necessary trainings, which will lead me to the next part of this conversation. What do you need to do, right? I cannot emphasize how much I've spent on trainings. I cannot really speak about that on camera, but I know how much I have to learn a whole lot of things, right? So if you know that you want to be technically competent or technically sound within a career path, then you need to have an investment on trainings. Investing on trainings, that's something that you don't want to joke about. You are trying to have a career transition, you need to invest on trainings, practical trainings, things that are very, very specific for whatever career you are trying to transition into. But then you need to update your CV. Now, as much as I do a whole lot of other things, I do have CVs that speak of me as an HR person, of which if you look at my HR CV, I cannot use that CV to apply for any other thing in this world. So as much as I say, oh, I'm a data analyst, I'm a this, I'm a that, if I'm giving you my HR CV, the only thing you are going to be seeing on that CV is HR, and you want to speak to me about HR. So, and again, I could have had that CV when I was not doing HR, when I was in accounting, but I was taking trainings, I was doing a lot of other things, I was writing CIPM exams, trying to just make sure that I'm as competent enough as an HR professional, so that when I'm saying these things within my CV, I'm not lying. So the intention of this video is not to have a CV masterclass, but again, if you are watching this video and you are working in Nigeria, you would agree with me that in most of the job roles in Nigeria, sometimes, especially entry-level positions, get a particular job and you discover that you are doing a whole lot of things that are not even inside your job description. So one of the advices I give to people who are starting out their careers or who are in several places, especially when they are in trainee roles, is that you will not be lying if you are trying to apply for a particular position and you are only using the core responsibilities that mirrors that position. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So for instance, I'm doing accounting, but anytime they are trying to recruit in my organization as an accountant, they are always calling me. Maybe we don't have HR, or the HR manager does not have time. They are always calling me to type I should do a job ad, I should research on job description, I should do interview for people and all that. I'm not an HR practitioner, but I have HR experience. Do you understand? And for those of us in different companies, you understand what I'm talking about, how that you are doing one thing but you have a little leg at project management. I have worked as a HR business partner before, and I was doing serious project management. I was having to manage the building of an entire factory in that sense, and from scratch to finish. So if I want to project myself as a project manager, I have a lot of things that I can say. I have a way I can position myself. So one of the things you need to look at is how has your previous role prepared you for where you're trying to transition into. And if you think deeply, you would really find out, you would realize that there is a link, there is a bridge. I know you want to say that, oh, I'm a teacher. How does teacher relate to HR? Oh, I'm currently doing HR. How does HR relate to tech or stuff like that, or cybersecurity? If you have a deeper link, you discover that there are things that you can exploit. And if you are doing a job currently where you are doing everything and it's almost as if you don't have a job description, I will literally say that you have a bonus point. You have a bonus point in that sense. So update your CV. And when you're updating your CV, ensure that you are result oriented. You are talking in terms of achievements. That would be maybe the second to my last point, right? I will still talk about that, but ensure that your CV would be saying things like, I achieved, I spearheaded, I oversaw this process and it led to this process and all that. Don't have boring CVs where you're only talking about I did, I can, I submit files, I do this particular thing, I do that. A lot of people really don't care what you do in your day-to-day. They just want to understand what impact you have been able to create, what impact you have been able to create when doing the things that you are doing. So you understand my point. It's really important that you are curating your CVs, you are using the right keywords. Again, like I said, maybe I'll make another video for CVs in that sense. So don't mix the flow. Again, if you have not subscribed to this channel, do well to subscribe, do well to like this video, do well to share this video, as I think at this rate I will try to make 2 videos a week, and I'll be talking about a whole lot of very insightful stuff. Again, I make that promise. Again, back to our discussion. One other thing that you must take cognizance of, having done your CV and all the things I've mentioned, is the fact that you should prepare to answer difficult questions. So again, you are applying for entry-level roles or senior roles. You are trying to switch into a career, you are trying to leverage on your previous experience, and you are trying to get into another role. You have all your skills, you are networking, you are all that, you are doing all of all that. How about when you start attending interviews? When you start attending interviews, you are going to be asked questions, right? And you have to sound convincing. You have to show that you are confident, right? I think I like to use this SPC approach. Strong, you are giving strong responses, you are giving positive responses, you are giving competent responses. When I mean strong responses, you are not lying, but you are giving reasons why you want to challenge yourself, you want to follow your dreams, you want to, you are showing that you really know what you want in that sense. Very, very important when you begin to attend interviews. I usually advise people to rehearse interviews, right? The questions such as, tell me about yourself, why are you trying to have a career change? You should have these questions already answered, right? Giving them strong reasons how you think you want to leverage on something, you think you want questions already answered. right? Giving them strong reasons how you think you want to leverage on something, you think you want to challenge yourself, and you are prepared, because opportunities must not find you unprepared. If you are not prepared and the right opportunities come, you would really be feeling sorry. Again, I would ask you, how has your past experiences prepared you for where you are going to? Very important question to ask. And finally, as I conclude on this episode, I know I'll definitely make more content around this whole career transition thing. Be patient with yourself. Be patient. I know I said that, in 3 months you can get a new job, and I still insist that in 3 months, if you put all these things together and you are doing the right things, in about 90 days, you can literally get a new job. I have a book, How to Land a Job in 90 Days. It's a very insightful book, and I shared a lot of strategies in that book. If you like to get that book, find a way to reach out to me. If you look down there, you'll see a couple links that you can explore to get through to me, or you can leave a comment in the description of this video, and I will do well to reach out to you. Very insightful book, How to Land a Job within 90 days. Be patient with yourself. Understand that this is a process. Don't forget that at the beginning of this video, I talked about clarity. And once you have clarity, you can break down everything that you are trying to do into actionable steps that you do little, day in, day out. Don't forget that 0 times 1 million is still 0. 0 times 1 billion is still 0. But 0.001 times 1,000, you can do the mathematics. 0.01 times 1 million, you can do the mathematics. Never stay at a point. If you need to challenge yourself in 2025, if you need to break into somewhere, I would advise you to start the journey today, right? Put all the insights that we've spoken about in this journey, put them together, and do well to transition. If you need to break into somewhere, I would advise you to start the journey today, right? Put all the insights that we've spoken about in this journey, put them together, and do well to transition if you need to. And if you are not even transitioning, even on your current career, ensure that you are doing the right things, you are making progress. Again, thank you very much for staying till the end of this video. If you have not subscribed, you do well to click on the subscribe button and visit HR Inspired. I will do well to bring you amazing content as this. In other episodes of these conversations, I will take you through some practical sessions on how we can do a whole lot of things around our career, HR, or if it has to do with tech. Those are literally the things that I do in my day-to-day. Once again, thank you for seeing this video. I wish you a very beautiful and amazing experience in your career. Bye. Kindly subscribe to this channel. Don't forget.